everybody, what's going on? My name is Zach, and thank you so much for clicking on this video. The review will start pretty soon, but I do have a cool unboxing to do, as well as an explanation. I saw Cyrano back in December, recorded my video, expected it to go up in early January. Then everything changed, the film got delayed, and now my review is finally coming out. So I'm very appreciative that you guys have been holding out for this one. I don't know how many of you guys are pretty much excited for this. I'm excited to hear your guys' thoughts. I'll show you guys the unboxing, then let's dive into the review. So I got this awesome package. My sole purpose on this earth is to love you. So definitely going to write this to my girlfriend. And then we got this awesome pen that we can write this with, that's just sick and awesome. Look at that. Look at that. Whoever wanted a feather pen? And then we have this awesome leather-bound journal with Cyrano, which is awesome. I really like this. And in fact, it's actually pretty cool because all of these elements, besides the card, I'm going to write that to my girlfriend. She loves pens and journals, and it'll go perfect with this note. Really much, this is like the best little thing for Valentine's Day. And Cyrano is finally coming out this week. I hope you guys enjoy the review, so let's start with it.
Dinklage is in a brand new musical called Cyrano, and I was pretty damn excited for this one because I've been on a big musical kick lately. I loved In the Heights, I loved Tick Tick Boom, and we got Everybody's Jamie, which was super unique. We got Encanto. There were so many vivid, amazing musicals. So I expected it. Yeah, I'm probably gonna love this one. I'm on that musical kick, and if you followed me for a while, you know I'm not a huge musical fan. Well, sadly, yeah. This one kind of left me a little bit empty. What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to a brand new movie review. Today we're going to be discussing Cyrano, which of course stars the likes of Haley Bennett, Ben Mendelsohn, Calvin Harrison Jr., and Peter Dinklage, and it's directed by Joe Wright, who has done films like The Darkest Hour, Woman in the Window, and Pan. So we got that going for us. This is about Cyrano, who dazzles everyone with his fierce wordplay and brilliant swordplay. However, he's convinced his appearance renders him unworthy of the affections for the luminous, amazing Roxanne, a devoted friend who is in love with someone else. Now, like I said, I was really excited for this because of some of the early buzz coming out of some of the festivals. It's a musical. I've been on a big musical kick, but Joe Wright is a director that I'm very hit or miss with his movies, and honestly, it's more on the miss side. I typically don't come away from his movies that impressed, but I was hoping that maybe Cyrano would be the one that kind of wrapped me around and said, hey, no, you can trust me. And in some ways, yeah, it worked, and others, no, but I overall left the experience feeling pretty empty on this. And as a little bit of a background, I don't know anything about the play. This is my first interpretation ever seeing an adaptation like this, so if you have seen the play, please leave a comment down below so we can have a great discussion on that, so I can hear your guys' thoughts on it. Is this not the best interpretation of it? Do you disagree with me? Do you think this is the best interpretation of it? Let's discuss it all down there. And of course, if you're new here, you're in the right place, especially if you love talking movies, so make sure to hit that like and subscribe button so we can keep talking movies over here on a daily basis. With every movie review, I love starting talking with the pros because I'm all about film appreciation over here. And starting with the pros, let's discuss the main thing about this that honestly broke my heart into so many pieces, and that is Peter Dinklage's amazing performance in here. He proves once again why he is one of the best actors working. He's such a phenomenon. And I remember seeing him in Game of Thrones, just being so impressed with him as Tyrion. And Tyrion being one of my favorite characters from Game of Thrones, that was one of the main reasons I stuck with the show for the first 2 seasons. I wasn't the biggest fan of the show, but of course I started to love it. And we won't get into the rest of the show as well because that'll just spark up a whole different debate. But Peter Dinklage himself is just one of the best actors working today, and I do think that if he was nominated for the next Oscars, I'd be like, yeah, let's do it. I believe it, because he's great in the movie, and there's no taking anything away from his performance, and his performance is very tragic and beautiful. And again, it ripped my heart out at certain points, especially with some of the dialogue that he was able to really much give out. And I think one of his main co-stars in here who plays Roxanne is Haley Bennett, the person that he is absolutely in love with, and I totally see why he is, because I would be in love with Haley Bennett as well. Haley Bennett is fantastic in here as well. I think she's been very underrated the last couple of years when it comes down to movies. But I'm hoping that maybe this will be kind of one of those final pushes to kind of give her the limelight in a lot of movies, because in a sense, while Peter Dinklage is the main character of this entire movie, I mean, the entire movie is named after him, Haley Bennett is also phenomenal in this, and she also ripped my heart right out. Both of them together, their friendship, their relationship, and the bond that they kind of have throughout the movie is very important and integral to the entire story. In a sense, you kind of start to understand why Cyrano loves her so much, and in general, you see the frustration in him because, in all honesty, you should also be able to fall in love with Cyrano himself. There's also two other actors in here who I'm major fans of, and that is Ben Mendelsohn, who's always great. In fact, I didn't even notice it was Ben Mendelsohn. Like, I'm watching the movie, he's under all this weird, funky makeup and costuming, and I'm like, why does this voice sound so familiar? It sounds like the guy from Rogue One. I'm like, Zach, you're an idiot. It's Ben Mendelsohn. All I could think of, like, throughout this entire review now, and especially as I get to the editing of this video, because when he says in the Rogue One that we were so close for greatness.
We were this close.
I feel like that's actually my thoughts on this movie, because I saw the greatness in here, and I actually feel that the movie is a bit too short for the material being told here. Now, we'll get into that in a second, but I want to continue talking about Calvin Harrison Jr., who, God, this kid amazes me in every performance, and I actually think he was better than the material handed to him from the script. He's so damn good in here, but I do feel like his character was a little bit underwritten in here, and it sucks because I think he's fantastic, but deserved a little bit more. If you want to see him really work his musical muscles, go check out High Note, which came out last year, which was great. Well, I guess when this review is going up, it might be 2022 already, but it came out in 2020 and was great. I think it's on HBO Max right now. Definitely check that one out. Another thing I do want to give credit where credit is due is some of the cinematography in here is absolutely stunning. For certain different set pieces, for some of the musical elements, I sat there just in awe of what this movie was going on and how they were really able to emphasize some of the feelings that our characters were going about. It is very much a visually appealing film, from the set design, from the production design, from the costume design and the makeup. All of that really much brings this movie to life, and especially again in certain set pieces and certain musical numbers, not all the musical numbers, but certain ones really work. And in fact, this movie reminded me of Les Mis. Now, I do want to segue over to my cons, though, because this is where I really get down to, is I mentioned Les Mis. It kind of reminded me a lot of that. Now, I love Les Mis, and I think that's a freaking phenomenal musical. But Cyrano, the reason that it takes it away from there is a couple different things. Les Mis never felt rushed in its execution, whether it was the relationship between characters, the story being told, or the time frame. And I don't know if the play is like this at all, but Cyrano felt a bit rushed. And if it's as close as it is to the play, that's where you kind of maybe take the risk and write a couple new materials to really expand on it all. And it's not, and the play actually has more to expand on the story and the characters, then that's where I think the movie really messed up then. One of my biggest issues with the movie is, while the performances are fantastic, some of the characters are very underwritten. And even in a sense, sometimes I wouldn't even believe what is going on in the screen, of why this person would fall in love with this person and not this person, why you would believe this and not that. Maybe I'm just being a little bit nitpicky at this point, but there are certain elements like that that really took me out of my experience throughout this musical and just reminded me that I'm just watching another movie. The story being told here, I don't feel like should have just felt like another movie or another musical. This should have felt like a cinematic experience, especially with everything going on. And I remember the first time I saw Les Mis was on a freaking laptop, watching it next to one of my friends. And I freaking loved it just from there. And then I've watched it on TVs and all sorts of things like that and loved it even more. And I wish Cyrano had that same capability, because while again I did like visually some of the set pieces and some of the musical numbers, not all of it felt big as it probably should have been. Some of it felt a little bit lazy and haphazard. And again, that doesn't go to anything in the production or anything like that. It's just the way that it was filmed and shot, and the way that the story was overall just told. I think that's the reason that I left Cyrano feeling so empty and, in a sense, kind of heartless. The movie overall broke my heart because I expected to love this movie. And maybe that's my expectations, but I did temper them going in, and I just walked out liking it. I felt emotionally empty, though, leaving the movie. And the only kind of emotion that I had watching the film was from the actors. Peter Dinklage is once again phenomenal, and if he is nominated for an Oscar, he absolutely deserves it, because he is spectacular in here. There are a couple musical numbers that really ripped my heart out, especially because he is such a visual actor that very much, in just his facial manners, gives such an emotional experience, especially within his eyes. And I've always felt that eyes are some of the most hardest experience for an actor to really give with it in acting, and you can really much see it in here. Haley Bennett as well goes toe-to-toe with him, is giving such a phenomenal performance as well. Calvin Harrison Jr. and Ben Mendelsohn are both great. I just wish they both had a little bit more to do within their characters. Overall, this is not the best movie. It's not even great. It's not bad. It's just fine. It didn't rip my heart out because of the story. It really just ripped my heart out because of the performances and how amazing they were, and also because I wanted to love this movie, and I probably should have. It had all the potential to be great. Just didn't hit it for me. So with all that said, I'm going to give Cyrano a C. Thank you once again, guys, for watching this. You guys are seriously all the best. I can't wait to discuss more movies with you guys down below in the comment section. If you're a big fan of the play, let me know down below as well. I want to hear your guys' thoughts specifically, as making sure to hit that like and subscribe button. Head on over to Sandwich One Films on how to see films early, and of course, it's a big thing to you and a big thing to my Patreon supporters, because without you, I really wouldn't be able to do this. So, of course, until next time, stay classy.